I know you like that. How long you been back, man? I see that.
This is the 5 Point Play Podcast, the Die-Hard Duke Basketball Fans Podcast. But Jack, I gotta be honest with you, it was all football last Saturday. I know it was not the outcome that we wanted, but just being there on campus at that game, I don't think I've ever seen a better. I've been to a lot of football games. I don't think I've ever seen like a better on-campus experience than what Duke put out there from game day to the tailgating, pre-game. Everything was just off the charts. The only thing they didn't do was, find a way to win the game at the end.
The
But it
only thing
was,
they didn't do was stop 4th and 17.
yep. And, it's funny. It's the same thing that happened in Notre Dame the week before when they played Ohio State.
Yep.
It was just role reversal there. It's like the game day curse apparently right now in college football. But shout out to Elko and the Duke athletic department for the presentation that they put on last Saturday, and sounds like a lot of the runners going to be all right. So that's huge, obviously. But
The bye week is huge for him too.
Yeah, that's huge. And then they play NC State, another night game. People are already asking about tickets, so hopefully, Duke
gonna
fans.
be good.
Hopefully. Duke
Didn't they announce?
fans,
Is that one gonna be on ABC again?
I think it's
know.
ACC Network, but the timing
okay.
is prime time.
It got the primetime spot on ACC Network.
8 p.m. Not on the CW, AC. So.
I forgot we had games on the CW now, man.
Yeah, but so
I don't even know what the channel the CW is anymore.
Getting involved in anything, dog.
Yeah, seriously.
Bocce
At least it's not
ball,
like the Big
live
Ten
ball,
when on Peacock.
We'll get to it. So if you guys follow us on social, on Instagram, Twitter, which is what we have right now, you already know that we're going to be at Countdown in 2 weeks from tomorrow, right? 2 weeks from Friday.
Yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah, God willing, all 5 of us will be there. Looking forward to getting after it, and another amazing experience down at Duke, and obviously Cameron will be rocking. We already know that.
Yeah.
So we kind of got a new platform. We're constantly evolving. That's what we do. Far Cry AC. Far Cry.
You're not growing, you're dying.
That's right. The far cry from AC and I starting this from our garage. So, but thank you to Jack and to Dee for kind of setting up the next evolution of the 5 Point Play podcast. Jack, kind of give the people a little bit of an understanding of what we're doing.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on right now, which is really exciting. We're doing something new. We're gonna start it at Countdown officially, but I just wanted to give you guys the heads up now. We are starting a Patreon.
Yeah, and let's go.
We're really excited to give you guys a little bit extra content. The first thing we're gonna do is a Patreon mailbag. So if you guys have any questions that you want us to discuss, whether it be about the team, whether it be about recruiting, past teams, literally anything, send it to us on Twitter, on Instagram. You can email us 5pointplaypodcast@gmail.com. Just put mailbag in the subject line, and that's what our first thing's going to be. We're going to officially launch it right around Countdown to Craziness. So I really hope you guys are as excited for this as we are, because it's going to be a really fun time.
Yeah, and if you guys want to ask if D's going to cut his hair at any point, that's fair game as well. Feel free to,
Wasn't that the national championship bet last year, D, on Spaces?
That was a few years ago.
That's right.
That was a few years ago.
That was a follow.
I had a pin tweet, and then I had to get a job, and where people would judge you, so we had to cut it. But yeah, that was out there.
Well, let's run it back. But speaking of exciting,
Next play.
It is next play. Speaking of exciting, we had Duke obviously just teasing everybody with the scrimmage, highlights that they wanted to put out there. No Mark Mitchell, but obviously a lot to be excited about, from the freshman to watching, Tyrese just kind of run the show, Flip moving so well which is kind of like the first takeaway I got. But I picked on you earlier, D, so I'll give you the first reaction to the scrimmage highlights that they put out.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of bad spots in that scrimmage. I spoke with AC about this. The one glaring thing to me is if Reeves can become a Mark Mitchell in March, or a Mark Williams in March, good to go. But a dominant big could give us some problems.
Yeah,
but other than that, great.
Yeah, I mean, like we've talked about it, and until we actually see the product on the court, it's like, all right, what is the defense going to look like? Because that's going to be the biggest topic in the offseason and leading up to any official games. And the first couple of games, I'm sure it's going to be one of those things that comes to mind or whatever. Is what does the defense look like? I mean, already, like the group that we had, the four that we have returning already have proven themselves on defense throughout an entire season, if not more. Obviously, with Jeremy Roach. Like defensively, we're good. Like we're gonna keep teams hounded on the perimeter. We're gonna be able to funnel them to spots on the court where we want, and that's how John that's how he does play defense. Now, obviously, John has wanted a 6'9" plus lengthy shot blocker. He tried to get one the entire offseason, and now we settle with Christian Reeves in that role. So Christian Reeves is gonna have an opportunity to show John what he wants. Like. So it's up to you, Christian, to do that because obviously it's an important role in the way John wants to play defense. However, it's not necessary, I don't think. Now, we haven't seen a season of John Shire's defense without that because we had Derek Lively last year. So it'll be interesting this year to see kind of how he rolls it out. Are we going to start Ryan Young? Are we going to start another guard? Is Flip going to be the one handling the main big for the most part? I mean,
that was the most glaring thing to me. That was the most glaring thing to me.
But I mean, you want him on the floor. You want Flip on the floor. Obviously, when Flip is running through traffic dunking, he can't defend himself, so nobody else is defending him at that point in time. So, I mean, that's kind of how it goes. So, can he do that without getting in foul trouble? Last year, he did a great job not being in foul trouble. We'll see if he can handle that this year as the main man down low, because you want him on the floor for 30 minutes plus if you can get him, because offensively, our offense is going to be our defense. You know what I mean? Like this team's offense is going to be what forces other teams to do things they don't want to do. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of see how that shakes out.
Yeah. Pablo, I wanted to switch to you here real quick. Obviously, I definitely want to get back to the Reeves and the kind of like where he fits into the rotation if he does, especially early in the season. But I do want to flip it a little bit to you in terms of the freshmen and what did you see from them? Because I've been a broken record saying that, and I was impressed with some of the highlights of Foster, but it kind of sounds like McCain's that guy. What did you kind of take away from some of the highlights from the freshmen?
Yeah, so I mean, just basically what I noticed is what stood out to me. Obviously, McCain's play. He's doing what he's always done. You know what I mean? High IQ basketball player, elite shooter, great team guy, really enthusiastic on the court. But the player I do want to talk about more than McCain is what stood out to me a lot was Foster and how poised he looked with the ball, making decisions. He looked confident. He looked like the Caleb Foster that we know that he can be. You know what I mean? So he didn't look like a freshman, that's for sure. But the one thing, though, about, I think what everybody needs to be careful with is that these guys are all familiar with each other. You know what I mean? They're playing each other every day. Mm-hmm. So it's always going to look one way. It's always going to look pretty good. You know what I mean? Because they're playing with no pressure. They're playing their friends. It's like if we all was to go out there and play, we'll probably look
It
good.
looks a little prettier than it was if we were to go out and play.
No, that's a fair point.
And their highlights, right? Their highlights.
Yeah, exactly. And their highlights, because, when you play, like, you go to Chapel Hill, they trying to rip your head off. You know what I mean?
Right,
TJ Power isn't trying to rip Jared McCain's head off. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No.
So, I mean that's neither here nor there, because ultimately I think we got a hell of a basketball team, and the freshmen look really good. You know what I mean? And I'm excited.
Yeah, the only player, one of the only players that we haven't talked about yet, Jack, is Sean Stewart. Obviously, he kind of set the Duke fandom on fire with the new vertical record eclipsing Zion, which is just insane. So where do you see him fitting in? I thought he looked great in that scrimmage. Again, they're all highlights. Nobody missed a shot. But where do you see Sean Stewart filling in? Because he could be that fifth starter.
He could be. He could be the fifth starter. I feel like he's probably the most willing to come off the bench, though. He was National Sixth Man of the Year last year as a senior. He is an incredibly versatile piece. I think you can put him next to Flip. You could put him next to Mark in the front court, and he'd thrive in either spot. I just think that versatility is huge, and it'll allow him to be a bench piece. So I don't see him being the fifth starter unless there's an absolute emergency. But I will say he's incredibly impressive, and he's going to get more than 20 minutes a game, starter or not.
You think so?
I mean,
I don't know if he's going to get more than 20 a game. I don't know if he'll average. I don't know if for the season he will average more than 20 a game. I guess I'll put it that way.
AC,
I mean, I think it depends on a lot, but
there's a lot of
ACC
there's a lot of teams. But in his defense, there might be a few different lineups that the Duke throws out this year.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's still a freshman. Like, let's not forget that.
I mean, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna say this now. I don't care who starts. I need to know who can finish.
Yes. I wouldn't be shocked if he was one of those last five.
He could be, depending on the type of game that we're playing, and that's one of the great things about this lineup. You have so many different players that you can put in to whatever situation you need. And one thing I liked about John Shire's press conference the other day was talking about the defensive intensity of McCain and Foster. Both of those guys, I think, can lock up, but you already know that Sean can do that as well. So I think it really just kind of depends on what kind of lineup we need at the end of the game, where if we need defensive stoppers, then maybe he goes with Stewart. If we need shot making, maybe he brings in McCain or Foster. Who knows? But I did want to switch it back to you, AC. Jack mentioned potentially, let's say he, does get 20 minutes a game, referring to Sean Stewart, right? Okay, well, what does that do for Reeves? We haven't even brought up Ryan Young, who we know is going to get somewhere between 8 to 15 minutes a night, certainly early, and then who knows what will happen later. Our hope, as Dee talked about at the beginning, is that Reeves comes along midway through the ACC schedule, and we can rely on him going forward through the home stretch. So if Sean Stewart's getting 20, that doesn't bode well for Christian Reeves getting a whole lot of minutes on the court.
I would say so, right? Because within that particular spot, you have minutes for Mark Mitchell, you have minutes for Ryan Young, and you have minutes for Sean Stewart / Reeves / Power. So at that point, who is doing what and what is needed for that game? I think that's that kind of wild card spot right there, because the guard minutes are going to be pretty much set with Foster, McCain, and then Proctor and Roach. Shooting Blakes are gonna, whatever minutes they get is gravy, whatever. But talking about the front court, back to them, that's the wild card spot, because you have someone who offers you 3-point shooting in TJ Power. You have someone, and Ryan Young. You have someone who offers you that rebounding ability in Ryan Young for sure, and 5 more fouls guarding somebody else's post. You and taking Flip off the main post. That's what Ryan Young's job is going to be when he's in the game. You have Sean Stewart, who is a capable shot blocker, not a great mover on the perimeter in terms of perimeter defense. At least in high school, maybe he's improved that with the summer with Coach Will. We'll see. But I'm not counting on him to do that yet, especially as a freshman. It's very difficult for freshmen to be able to pick up those types of assignments. So I'm not on him for that yet, and I'm sure John doesn't either unless he proves he can. But you do have the shot blocking ability with him, especially on the offside. And then Christian Reeves, like, what can he give us? Because John looked for this. He looked for Christian Reeves all summer, and he had him on the team. So is he going to be good enough to fill that role? That's the question, man. So yeah, no. If Sean's getting 25 minutes or 20 minutes a game or whatever, then yeah, I don't see much time available for Christian Reeves unless Ryan Young is the one that takes the back seat. Yeah.
And I think Ryan Young, Pablo, is a guy that has no problem, taking the back seat. He's one of those unselfish, and I think that's one of the reasons he was named captain. He's so unselfish. It's honestly like and John actually brought this up. It's like who wants it? Who wants to come out there and take it? So to me, it's like, all right, if that's Stewart, great. If it's Reeves, even better. Personally, I don't really see Reeves doing that. Just being brutally honest. Where do you kind of see? How do you see this team playing? Is probably a better question because he's 11 guys right now that can play, but we know he's not going to play all 11, especially in conference tournament. Where do you kind of see the rotation going?
Rotation wise, I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, he has some different pieces, and I think John Shire is the type of dude, the type of coach that he's going to roll with whoever is playing the best. That's what he's going to do. And I think a lot of it is going to be situational, just like AC said, just like Dustin said, just like Jack said, we always say that. I think a lot of it's going to be situational, and it's just at the end of the day, who's playing the best, who wants it, and this team is going to play fast. They're going to play fast, and they're going to shoot a lot of 3-pointers. I think you'll see Flip, working in the mid post a lot as well, but I think you'll see a lot of perimeter stuff with him taking guys off the dribble. And as far as Christian Reeves go, I don't know, man. I've always been on that train, bro. I really believe that
I'm with you.
He's gonna do very, very well. I think what he needs to do,
yes, sir,
is completely focus on defense and rebounding. If he can do that, kind of like how Lively did, I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine. But if he wants to do other things, I'm not, But I mean, he can catch, he can run like a gazelle. Shot block and rebound. That's what we need. So
this is a him thing, right? He's got 100%. Everything. He's got everything at his hands to be a better player, from the weight room, strength and conditioning, nutrition. I mean, you name it. He's got everything at his hands to be better. How bad do you want to be a part of this Duke team? How bad do you want to be a staple of this Duke team? Now it's on him. I said this about Derek Lively too. Y'all know it.
Oh yeah.
Look in the mirror, man. Look in the mirror.
Am I wrong?
How bad do you want
Am I wrong for wanting at least a rotation established though by January? I feel like it's been like the Paulo team. We kind of had one, but like it's been a minute. I feel like since we've had an actual established rotation, and all of our national championship teams have had an established rotation. I mean, that's a hallmark of having a veteran team, is having like knowing at least knowing who the 5 guys who are going to play, right? Like, and we're talking about this fifth spot right now. I want somebody to take it, like to take the spot, like take it early, because you're a better team when you're not always having to constantly adapt and constantly change. Like I know that there is change that happens, but I want something established, man.
John probably loses sleep wanting Reeves to take that spot so damn bad.
I'm sure.
You can't have Flip playing the 5 and depending on him on offense. He's going to be the most used player in college basketball.
The most mediocre coach is going to attack Flip in the post. The most mediocre coach in college basketball is going to do that.
You're going to double Flip every time, like that. Like
I'm talking about defense. I'm talking about the defense.
Oh yeah,
you're going to attack him on defense, trying to foul him out.
So I mean, you got to figure something out. How bad do you want to be here, man?
I mean, that's another question though, Jack. Is like, what is his actual personality? I didn't come into this podcast thinking that we were going to talk about Reeves this much, but we're here.
Here we are.
Here we are. So let's just lean into it here. But what is his personality? Does he have a personality that he has that dog in him, where he's like, he saw what's going on in the offseason. John Shire can say whatever he wants publicly, but he saw what was going on in the offseason. We were trying to get another big. What does that do to his psyche? And he has to see it all out in front of him now. He knows we're probably going to get Pat, in the next couple of weeks to come in and play the 5. So what kind of dog does he have in him? That's the real question.
I mean, yeah, that is the question. I think we saw it at Countdown last year. He can be a very good player.
Yeah, for sure.
Thing is, he hasn't really gotten a chance outside of that to do it for various reasons. Some brought on by himself, and others just the fact that everyone else around him is significantly more like developed in their game. But I think you don't come to Duke to not compete. You come to Duke because you want to be a starter at Duke and you want to be one of the best players on Duke. He did stay.
And shout out to him.
100%.
Seriously.
He could have left. With all that
Not
stuff
to
going
mention
on.
not to mention the fact that he played with Caleb in high school. This is something that I say, like I remind you guys every chance I get. This guy played with Caleb Foster in high school.
Mhm.
There is a very good chance that comfort will be instrumental in his development this year.
Sure.
Like,
Fair
you know, Tyus Jones and Jaleel Okafor, obviously, those guys were like 1 and 4 in the high school class. But they knew each other going back to when they were like 8 years old.
Yeah.
There's the familiarity
Mhm.
creates a sense of comfort, especially in such a fast-paced environment as college basketball.
I mean, no matter what I'm doing, I do it better when I'm doing it with the homies. Like,
Yeah.
from golf to cornhole to pickleball. I don't know, like you name it.
Right.
Like when the homies are there and when we're hooping 5-on-5, like I'm probably gonna play better because I'm just with friends.
Yeah.
So
When I'm having a good time, when I know the
Exactly.
game of the people around me, yeah,
And this is kind
it
of like his
elevates
freshman
you.
year anyway, right? Are we calling this his freshman year essentially because he was supposed to redshirt last year? He didn't get any minutes last year. He lost an entire season of the development in high school due to a car accident. Like, I mean, all the if you want to call them excuses, all the excuses are there, whatever else. But this is absolutely his time to show John and Duke fans and the nation that all that searching for other dudes, all that searching for other people, it was unnecessary. Like, take this on, man. Take that Durham bull by the horns, man.
Yeah.
I think he'll step up to the plate. I definitely think he'll step up to the plate, man.
Yeah.
I've been a big Reeves
I'm with
fan.
you.
You know, I think he'll do well. I think we just got to be patient with him, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'll go back to my point. You know, I mean, if he focuses on those two things that he needs to focus on,
Yeah.
you know, on that side of the ball, I think it's going, you know, he's going to be able to surprise a lot of people, man. And not only, I mean, he came to Duke, you know, expecting to be 4-year player. So, you know, he has the time, and, you know, his development might not have been as fast as everybody wants it to be, but, you know, he's been hurt and different things have happened, and he's had, you know, guys that potentially are going to be NBA, all first team NBA guys playing in front of him. So, you know, we just got to be patient with him. And I'm just hoping for the best, and I think he'll do well.
Yeah, so we're obviously going to dive a lot more into the rotation. We're going to dive more into how we're going to play, whether we're going to press, you know, what kind of offense we're going to run, all that stuff as we inch closer toward the season. But we also have a couple other things that we want to talk about tonight. And, you know, the first one is we got a huge commit. I don't know if it was out of nowhere necessarily, AC, but certainly the timing of it was awesome for us to get that thing locked up. I'll let you try to pronounce his name first.
Knueppel.
Okay, there we go. And then now you can talk about his game and what that
K2
means for this class.
No, absolutely, man. It's a big deal because, number one, you can see the direction John's going. We're staring another mass exodus in the face. Four of our starters are gone, and I believe that at least one of Caleb and Jared are gone. And then, because you can see it, right? Because we're getting Boku guards in this class, and they're all shooters, right? And then we're still in it with VJ Edgecombe, right? He could have. We got K2, and then it's like, all right, so VJ is obviously going to drop out. No, he's not. And we stayed on that on Twitter and everything else and on Spaces with that. Like, no, he's not. He is still a part of the plan. So, and if he does commit, then I think that kind of speaks to what we're saying here about losing a couple guards for the next season. But either way, man, he's such a good and talented player. He's not an elite athlete, so then people look at him like, oh, you know, whatever. He just looks like a Duke white boy. It's out there, dude. That dude gets his shots. He knows his spots. You can't stop him from getting there. You can't stop him from doing what he wants to do. And he does the same thing over and over again versus 5-star competition versus 1-star competition. It never changes. He's so consistent. Like, he is so good. Like, honestly, not necessarily their game so much, a little bit of their game, but not, I mean, this is not an apples to apples comparison, but it reminds me of John, and who better to teach this kid than John Shire because of how he can run the team if he needs to from the point, or if he can be that scorer from the 2, or whatever it is that you need him to do, he's going to do it. And he's such a good player, man. I'm so happy we got that commit. He's such a good player. It was one of those things that it, like, on the surface, it looked like it was seemingly out of nowhere, but by all accounts from the people up in Wisconsin, this was kind of one of those things that it was kind of sort of a done deal. He really loved Tony Bennett as a person. I don't think he was in love with the UVA program. He was very familiar with Marquette, but Duke just really knocked it out of the park for him. And that was the last visit, and he was ready to get it over with. He's not somebody who wants to spotlight on him in that regard. He loves playing, and he loves playing on the big stage, but in terms of all the offseason stuff, he's not really a big spotlight guy like that, so he was ready to be done with it.
Yeah, Pablo, I will say that AC hit on something pretty good there, that we're going to probably have a mass exodus. It's expected at least 4 for sure. I'm with you, AC, that I think at least one of Caleb or Jared does leave. I don't know if that's going to play out, but if we go to the Final Four, we can live with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Pablo, in terms of the shooter, you see what John's doing. He wants to bring in shooters, right? And that's what this kid is. He could be the best shooter we've had in a really long time. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he's definitely a deadly shooter. I think he just scores the basketball really well. You know what I'm saying? And just in all facets of the game. I don't think I don't like to just label him just a shooter, just because if you watch him play, his understanding for the game is incredible. You know what I mean? And he's doing things that you don't see kids his age do, especially a kid that isn't super athletic, but he's still, what is he, about 6'5", 6'6". He's got a bigger body, pause. You know what I'm saying? But
wingspan too. He's got a huge wingspan.
Yeah, huge wingspan. But
6'6", 200 is what I think he's measured.
That's what they list him at, right?
Yeah, something like that. But I think
Either
overall,
way,
like I was saying, I just like his, his understanding of the game, man. And he's an unselfish kid too, man. It's not about him. You know what I mean? He seems like a team first guy. He wants to win. And we are getting an elite shooter for sure. I mean, think about it. Like who's been a better shooter coming in than him? Like bigger rep. Who was the last guy that we had? What?
Maybe AJ.
Kennard.
Luke Kennard, maybe?
Kennard or AJ. I'd say either one of those.
I'd say Kennard, yeah.
Or Gary Trent, or one of those guys.
Well, I don't know if this has been talked about yet, but have we talked about this dude's handles? 6'5", 6'6", 200 pounds, like whatever the case may be. This dude can control the ball. He's got an elite layup package. He can get to the lane at will. He's tough as nails. He's going to be in your face. He's not afraid of shit. I mean, he's a tough dude, man. He's a tough dude.
And he's got a basketball lineage. Like he knows the game better than any freshman should know the game.
I'm telling you,
his mom was an all-time basketball player in her college. Yeah. His dad was the same. Like he just comes from just athletic, just background, like just nastiness, man. Like he's such a good player, bro.
He's good at everything. No, he's not going to jump out of the gym. He's not going to break records with that, but he'll beat you. He'll beat you. He'll break you down 1v1. He will beat you. He will beat you. Like he's not just a shooter. He's not just a shooter.
Yeah. That's bad.
And like you said, TK, we're surrounding that whole team with shooters. So it's not like any one person's going to get doubled down on or packed the lane on. Like next year's team is going to look way different from what we have right now because of the way they're going to be able to spread the floor. Like we're not going to have a dominant interior big scoring, like just strictly in the post more than likely, but we're going to have a bunch of people who can attack from the perimeter. Like it's
Yeah.
Good luck, UConn.
John, we'll get to that. John said from the day he got the job that he wants to lead the nation in assists and 3-pointers made.
The 2001 style.
He's certainly recruiting that way, Jack, where he wants to get as many elite shooters because you can't have enough, especially in today's game. So you see everybody that he's recruiting. Where does he fit into the rotation next year? I know it's a little bit early, but is he good enough to start right away?
Sure.
Depending on who stays.
That's exactly what I was going to say, depending on who stays.
Sure. I mean,
again, this is all depending on how this season goes. You win a championship, it's a mass exodus. Everybody's out. Bye. See you later. Gone.
We're losing at least 5.
I'll trade that though. I'll trade that for a title.
100%.
Of course.
Absolutely. But my point is, we don't know who's going to come back next year.
No.
Again,
Yeah, that's gonna be a big
5-6 people leave if you hang a banner, right?
Mhm.
Your stock's not getting higher than that. You got to go. So yeah, if Duke hangs a banner, shoe in for a starter. Shoe in. But I'm not saying he's not now. He's a great 2 guard. And he's a big-bodied 2 guard.
Mm-hmm. He could play the 3 at college if you needed him to.
I think
and I know people have. No, he would be best utilized as a 2. I don't disagree with you. I think, but next year I think there's gonna be so much turmoil early on in that season with the mass exodus happening. More than likely, I think you're gonna need people are gonna play out of position for a little bit. I think that's what's gonna happen next year for a minute.
He could be a 3.
He could be.
You got to remember, Gerald Henderson played the 4 at times at Duke.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to do what you don't want
to
do.
But getting VJ Edgecombe would help keep him
team.
out of the 3 spot too. Exactly. I mean, you know what I mean? Like Darren could play the 3. Put the numbers away because it's just there's gonna be so much.
I don't give a fuck about your numbers.
Yeah, there's gonna be so much adaptability next year on the perimeter at least, and that includes, and I know we're gonna get there, but that includes Cooper Flagg. There's just so much. Dylan Harper too. Yeah, get him.
He's gonna be running the 1.
All right. So we're just gonna go right to that segment right now.
Play.
Okay, Pablo, I want to tell you that AC hit me up on the side a couple of days ago. He was really worried about Cooper Flagg going to UConn.
Stop it.
Can you
stop those lies right now? Don't you get on here and tell these people that nonsense.
Yeah.
Calm them down.
I got you. Now, AC know what's up. I got you, AC. I'll make sure. I'm gonna put your heart at rest a little bit. But I think I mean, if you just look, just read the tea leaves, man. I mean, it's Duke all the way. I have no problem with saying that he is going to be a Duke Blue Devil next year, period. That's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? If you just see everything that's going on, when do you ever see the Duke basketball coaches, tweet and, throw out hints, and you don't see that. You never see that. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as Cooper Flagg announced that,
plant the flag.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, what are we talking about?
Duke plants the flag at UConn.
Yeah, it's come on, man. So I think and just him, I think that was him going to UConn, doing the visit to UConn. I think it was a respectful thing for him to do, especially.
Shame on UConn for letting him come up during the Duke game, by the way. They could have brought him up for any other college football game. Shame on them.
Hilarious.
Did they not hear Andre Dawkins say that every visit he ever took anywhere else, it involved Duke somehow? Did they not hear Dre say that?
Yeah, they tripping.
This is what Dan Hurley gets for not listening to 5 Point Play.
Absolutely. Yeah, they should have made sure that they played a team that was 0-5 already or something, and a team that they knew that they was gonna beat.
Division 2, something.
Man.
Southwest Rhode Island State.
Yeah, seriously, man.
And that was basically another unofficial visit to Duke for him. You know what I'm saying? He just did it. So
Mike Elko chunked up the deuce at him. He saw him in the stands, gave it to him.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for certain.
Shit. I'm surprised Cooper Flagg wasn't sitting on the bench with the football team.
Right.
If you asked
hanging
him,
out with
yeah,
hanging out with Riley Leonard and Dwayne Carter and them.
Nah, but
sick.
But TK, just to finish it off, pause. So I mean, it's a done deal, man. In my opinion, he's already committed. In my opinion, I don't know nothing. I'm just saying, in my opinion, it's already done. You know what I'm saying? He's already committed. It's just a matter of time now.
But if he confirms that at CTC, we will be there, folks. If you didn't,
it'd be nice for him to do it on the 5 Point Play podcast. Coop, if you're listening,
that would be pretty cool.
Hey, yeah, shout out.
That'd be some clout.
Stop by. You'll see the flag. Pull up.
Plant the flag.
One thing that I've actually never seen is, at least at Duke, I've never seen a commitment right there in the middle of CTC. I can see, it's just throwing out an idea here. You know how they always do the roster, everybody comes out, does their little dance or whatever, and then there's a special surprise and there's Cooper Flagg coming out doing some sort of dance and ripping off the t-shirt. I can see something like that happening. You gotta be creative these days.
That would be fire.
Don't tease me. Don't tease me.
That'd be sick. The NCAA there's probably some rule the NCAA would put up.
Yeah, that's a recruiting violation.
Since you can't take pictures anymore and stuff.
Right, as long as you can still have a professional picture or photographer there.
So we'll send them to Sears
Strawbridge Studios or something. What the hell's going on?
And on some real stuff though, like just CTC alone, you might get a couple commitments out of
Not for real, though, right?
Yeah,
Like
you're not
real.
wrong.
What's up,
I
Dylan?
mean,
So you got Dylan,
mhm.
Patrick.
VJ.
Will he be there for CTC?
Is he there that weekend or is he there the week before?
I think he's there the weekend before. But I thought
That's right.
I thought
He's
it was
there the 15th, right?
I thought it
He's there the
was
15th.
So next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, he's
Or
there
the 14th,
before.
15th, something like that. That's right. That's right.
it was just
Well, he,
Dylan,
he better commit early then. Because he doesn't
I
want to
think
get
it's-
overshadowed the week after.
Yeah.
and I'm just saying, man, like, hey, might happen. You know what I'm saying? We might be good,
Three commits at CTC.
bro.
That
Fuck it,
would be
UConn.
sick.
You know how crazy
And the 5 Point Play podcast will be there. Let's go.
they
Yes,
wouldn't
sir.
even. They would have to change the name of recruiting. They would have to literally change the Webster's definition of that shit, man. It'd be like I'm going out to
Shiring.
recruit today or shiring or something. Real rap.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a picture of John with the sunglasses on. Is it?
Yeah. Real
Shiring right now.
I got a few of those.
I wonder if Coach K is going to be at CTC.
No, I doubt it.
I bet he won't be.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I actually
he
think
might be there.
I bet he'll
but
be in his
you won't see him.
office.
I
I
was
bet
gonna
he'll be
say,
in his office watching the game
Yeah.
on tape.
He'll
Yeah,
be
something.
there, but nobody will see that.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like,
he's
it's
done.
like in The Dark Knight Rises, and Bruce Wayne's just kind of off
Right.
in the corner, of the house, and nobody knows if he's alive or not.
It's
just
John's
kinda-
team.
He knows that though.
And I want to say it like this, like he's done a good job of, like, I don't need to tell he's doing a good job or anything. No, but it's just like he has kept his distance, which I think is helpful for John. But at the same time, like he's still there. Like recruits are still getting to meet him on visits, like all that type of stuff is still happening. Like he's still helping, but
if John,
he's
if
not
John
he's
call,
not the reason anymore.
If John call, he gonna answer first ring.
For sure, no, for sure. But he's
Without
he's not
question.
the reason. Like
So
look,
you've got
look,
that in your back pocket. Why do you need him beside you?
right? No, that's what I'm saying.
You
Like
feel me? I know.
take
So
it from
one
someone
thing-
who's
I
a
mean-
Virginia Tech alum who has watched the end of the Frank Beamer era and what happens after that. Coach K has done an immaculate job of like the transition has been a true transition. It's not like
Agreed.
it's not a blending or like how people talk about it. It has been a cut and transition.
So one thing that he
I'll tell
did
you.
say when I talked to him. Oh, go ahead, Jack.
No, you good, Pablo.
No,
So-
you first, Pablo.
One thing that he did say when I talked to him was, about leadership is a good leader knows when to step away. You know what I'm saying? A good leader knows when to scale back and let the next man up do his thing. So I think that's just a testament of what you're seeing. You know what I'm saying? And Coach K, he did-
Williams is not a good leader.
Are you sure you're not talking about Jim Boeheim?
All of them. But I'm really talking about Roy because
Wild out of pocket.
North Carolina right now.
Cue it up.
Is-
No,
is Roy
I'll
Williams-
say
Is Roy Williams the divorce lawyer, by the way, for Caleb and Mondo?
Oh,
I could
They
get
have
North
a
Carolina
baby
right now.
together.
Sorry,
It's
Jack.
good.
Sorry,
Oh,
Jack.
man.
it's still
not
waiting.
getting into this.
Still got to do the paternity test.
Yeah, I'm telling you, get Maury Povich on there and just find out who the father is. I know it's not Triple B. I know it's not Triple B.
All right, sneak peek into the Patreon account membership content here.
Y'all crazy.
Look, I'll say this. I don't know if you guys have heard one of Ryan Kelly's stories about when he was getting recruited. He was on the phone with Kay during the Olympics. And is the 2008 Olympics, the Redeem team, all that. And he says, yeah, Coach was just like, he's talking to me. He like holds the phone a little bit away from his face. He says, no, not now, Kobe. I can't talk to you either, Mello. I'm talking to Ryan Kelly right now.
Yep.
And I guarantee you Shire's pulling the same stop.
Flexed on him.
You might have to.
Having the access to flex, basically flex, no, you are my priority, not the greatest coach ever. No, sorry, coach, I can't talk right now. I'm here with Cooper Flagg.
Mm-hmm.
Not the best example because, Cooper Flagg, but,
Nah, man. Seriously. They talked to Cam Reddish after they won the title, like all that stuff, man. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, no,
they
that's
know how to
fine.
play this game. They know how to play this
Oh,
game.
yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I wonder if John Goodman's going to put Shire up in like the top 8 now in terms of college basketball recruiting. I don't know.
Hey,
He
Slick
may
Rick's
learn.
gone, so
That's Slick Rick.
All right, so I do want to get one more thing here. We kind of talked about it a little bit, Pablo, but you have been on this from day one. You haven't wavered at all with Dylan Harper. You know, if we get to where we think we're going to get, we probably are going to lose at minimum one of those guards, freshman guards this year. Perfect spot for Dylan Harper, but you probably feel, regardless of that he's coming to Duke.
Yeah, so I don't think that, it doesn't matter who comes back next year. The ball is going to be in Dylan Harper's hands. I'll tell you that. He come to Duke, he's going to have the ball in his hands. And that's just a testament of how good he is. And yeah, no, I'm like I said, I'm not wavering from that, man. I think if he would have, I think if Rutgers was such a lock, I think it would have already happened.
Sure.
Like we've been saying, the longer that it goes, the better. And that just tells me that he's just, he might be torn. He's undecided. I mean, there's some things that I have to figure out. And, maybe CTC just might break through. It might break through to him. I mean, I know he was there at CTC last year, I believe, right? He was there last year.
I think it was CTC he was there for.
Yeah,
sure.
So,
Hey,
this
that worked for Zion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see, man. I'm really on the train though. I feel like we're sitting pretty good with him. I know that they're still recruiting him hard, so I think it's about 50-50 now. It's 50-50 straight up.
Think so?
Yeah, man. I really believe so.
I think so. I think it was heavy Rutgers there towards the end of the summer when the dates kept changing and all the other stuff kept happening. And there was a point in time where if you told me that if this recruitment went long, that favored Rutgers, and now. Like I feel like it's a switch. I feel like if it keeps going longer, it favors Duke. And I know Bill Self keeps trying to jump in with Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper. He ain't going nowhere. Like whatever, man. You got Flory. Good job. Like you got a one-dimensional big. Good job.
But look
Happy
at the
for
roster.
you.
Look at the roster construction too, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look at what Duke is bringing in and potentially bringing in. You know what I'm saying? Opposed to, you know what I'm saying? Like what? Like realistically, if you just match the two up, and not just roster, because I don't want to talk about kids like that, but talk about who's better. But I mean, it's pretty clear. But at the end of the day, if he wants to stay home and play, more power to him. You know what I mean? I think that might be the only thing, literally the only thing that Rutgers has on Duke is that it's just close to home. But it's still Duke. Duke has been able to pull kids from Alaska to Duke.
For sure.
So,
for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I think we're good, man. I really believe that Dylan Harper will end up at Duke. I'm not changing how I feel.
I trust him.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. If Pablo's that confident, I'm not confident.
I trust it. I trust it.
That's the track record. So I'm with you on that.
Yep.
That class, we're going to that Cooper Flagg. Let's just call it what it is. If we get Cooper Flagg, if we get Harper, also VJ and Patrick, that has to be one of the top 5 classes we probably ever had.
Oh, easily. Top 5, not 5. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're talking about. I mean that's all the chips falling in a. I mean,
yeah.
Let's pump the brakes on that.
Level.
But
that's up there with 97.
But give me 3 out of those 5 guys you just listed, and a mass exodus. I'll be okay.
That's still 6 recruits. What is that? That'd be 6 recruits.
That'd be 6, yeah. That'd be the first time we get 6 since the 2002 class, right?
Well, once you lose everybody after you win the ship, you gotta get some players.
I think if Harper comes, though, I don't think VJ will come. There's no way.
I can see that.
There's no way.
We want VJ, but I think we take that trade, right?
Yep. If VJ comes in next weekend and either A, doesn't leave with a commitment or doesn't commit closely after, then I think that honestly, you're saying, Pablo, I think that's actually a good sign that Harper's probably coming.
Yeah, you can write.
And like, I mean, think about it too. Harper, you know what I'm saying, playing with Coop, and that's a hell of a recruitment tool. Cooper Flagg is a hell of a recruitment tool already. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they CTC talking. You know what I mean? If I'm Cooper, I'm in Harper's ear. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, bro, Rutgers, I hear what you're saying, but what we doing over here? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dog.
You guys remember? Sorry, I cut you off, Pablo.
You good, brother.
You guys remember? You got to remember 2 years ago, countdown. It was Derek and D Live had Mark Mitchell there on as official.
Yep.
And they got the crazies screaming, "We need Mark, we need Mark."
Yep.
And that worked out.
Next week. Yeah.
Yeah, worked out really well.
Well, let's hope that CTC magic happens again. And again, like these said multiple times, we will be there. We're ready to roll. I'm pumped for the season. I am so ecstatic. I'm so happy for the football team. And it's just kind of building momentum up for what will be the number one team in the country at the end of the year here.
Yeah.
Let's get it done. Let's get the Duke. We got 2 weeks to go, and then we're all five. The starting five. Roll. Let's go Duke.
Let's go Duke.
Let's go Duke.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out the 5 Point Play podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Also check us out on Twitter and on Instagram. 5 Point Play podcast. Let's go Duke.